Alright, one of my favorite things to do in Path of Exile-like games is to experiment with unique items. And in my opinion, this is what I'm most disappointed about in Path of Exile 2. Sure, the end game is trash. Sure, the balance is awful. Sure, most of their map design philosophy is trash. Sure, there's only a few in-game mechanics, and the instant one-shot death to pop you out of a map that you've juiced up is pretty trash. And a lot of their game design philosophies are poorly thought about and poorly implemented. But for me, the most disappointing thing is the unique items. So let's take a look at 100% of the current unique crossbows in the game. We have this bad boy, which I have maxed out to about as high a damage as you can get it. And then this bad boy, 10 to 19 physical damage with nothing really good to it. And this one is 6 to 10, but it has a really good quality of attacks chain 2 additional times. So I really wanted to kind of rack my brain and say, how can I make a full unique build in this game? So I wanted to use this crossbow. I wanted to pair it with this amulet, which triggers lightning bolt on critical strike. So that way you don't really need the damage from the crossbow. Pair that with rapid fire, which is going to allow me to crit a lot, but the crit chance on this crossbow is 5%. So, you know, crit a lot is being very generous. But you got really rapid firing, so you get more crits, which then triggers the Choir of Storms. And then you pair that with this bad boy to turn your crit bonus to 300%. And then that's kind of the combo. Because the uniques are so bad, I figured I can use this body armor for a 50% chance to avoid death on hits. But the stat above it, damage from enemies hitting you, is unlucky while you are at low life. Well, guess what? There's no real way to get to low life in Path of Exile 2 unless you're the Infernalist class. And by there's pretty much no way, I mean there is no way. You can't get to low life unless you're the Infernalist class using Coward's Trial or Coward's Belt, whatever that is called. So that stat is pretty much useless for my concept, because that lucky damage is only going to be useful when I'm at low life, and I was kind of hoping that the lucky damage is also going to take into account the 50% chance to avoid deaths from hits, but I don't think it will. But that would be pretty cool, because then it would give you a pseudo 100% chance to avoid death from hits. Wouldn't really be a 100% chance, it's like 70 something. It's like flipping a coin twice and getting heads both times. But that was the plan. And there's a really nice belt. I forget what it's called. Let's just find it real quick since I am talking about it. I might as well talk about it. Items, gloves, rings, belts. And we're going to go to unique belts. And, you know, look at the short little page. This guy right here. Now this would be a really, really cool belt to use, but because it's a cool belt to use, let's just do trade, should get me there. Because it's a really cool belt to use, it's expensive. Take a look at the price of this bad boy. For the worst roll, well, that's no one's gonna buy that. That's trash. You're looking at a divine for a 43% roll. You get anywhere close to higher percentages of that, you know, maximum. You're looking at 2 mirrors, 430 divines, and you want to be, I'd say, what is this? Bonuses from equipped rings. Equipped. Let's just put rings in here. Increased bonuses gained from equipped rings. You want to be at least 60% with this bad boy in order to make it remotely useless. So it's the divine for one. No, he's not actually selling that. He's trolling. You're never going to get that. So you're looking at like 6 divines for a 60%. Now if you want to go to, you know, what I would consider good, you need, what the hell is it? You need to go to 70%. Ideally, you want to be way up higher than that, but a 70% version of this ring, of this belt, is 13, 14 divines, and you could pair that belt with this glove fuck, I can't even say the right words. This ring here, I'm so flustered by how bad these uniques are. You pair that with this ring, it'll give you a ton of life gained on hit, a ton of mana on hit, resistances, rarity, accuracy, kind of everything you really need, and it would be a really nice combo, but that belt is so expensive because it's actually a good unique, unlike all of these other ones. So that was kind of my idea. I don't follow the market so much, so I didn't know that belt was super expensive. We were at work and I was super bored in a meeting. They were talking about the standard meeting stuff, like what position is best to do anal in, and I was looking at all the unique items with sadness in my heart. And I saw that belt and I saw this ring and I was like, oh, that's a cool combo. Let me try it out. And then the belt's fucking crazy expensive. I got fart boots just because, you know, why not? Fart boots. I was gonna get a headhunter, but you know, I didn't want to do it. This build is scuffed. I can't get it to work. I can't get a full unique build to work very well in this game. So I'm just gonna run a T1 and a T15 to show what this trash unique build can do. It's extremely disappointing. I'm just getting some crit, elemental damage, crit. Nothing serious, nothing crazy, nothing awesome. So let us, I'm not gonna do a boss. Let's just, this one. We'll start with the T15 so you can watch me go in and do nothing and then die. That's what's going to happen in this video. Now, if you want a video with any sort of substance that's more than just someone failing at making a full unique build and then complaining about how bad the uniques are, you're going to need to close this, because that's what this video is. It's me complaining about how bad the uniques are and failing at making a pure unique build. I mean, this is a pretty decent attempt. The headhunter might be okay. But for T15, I kill the enemy so slowly that I probably wouldn't even be able to properly utilize that headhunter. But I kind of like the idea of the avoiding death on hit, and I gain a ton of life. So my life sustain is insane with this crossbow skill. But I just can't get strong enough because the uniques are so bad to actually be able to take a hit. The only hits I do take are, like right there, I should have died, but my body armor saved my life. And then I instantly regened back up all the way up the top. But I'm dead, right? That's the T15 for you. Instant death. Can't work. Doesn't work. It's pretty trash. And that's because the uniques are trash. Now, what they could do in this game, which it makes me think that sometimes like GGG only cared about making the platform and the combat, and didn't even put any thought into anything else. And then they ran out of time and they're like, fuck, we gotta build an end game. So then they built an end game, but that's all they did. They built the combat system, they made a couple acts. I probably made act 1, act 2, and they're like, man, this is we're New Zealand and we gotta hire only New Zealand programmers, and we can't get enough programmers. COVID happened, they ran out of time, and they just shipped it. They wanted to get their paychecks, so they did a $30 early access. Probably the best early access ever released. You can't really complain about that. The game's great in terms of the combat, but it's so thoughtless in terms of these uniques. The easiest thing to do with these uniques is have them scale with your level. They already do that with the back-end gems of uniques, I'm pretty sure. So if you get the lightning staff, it's going to have a level 4 lightning bolt. You get a level 20 ability, it's going to have a level 20 skill. So you just have the damage scale with the level. So this crossbow can drop, and it drops with an item level. This is an item level 82, and since it's an item level 82, you just put a little multiplier on that. Higher the item level, higher the damage. Easy fix. They could hot fix that in today. It's just a simple math equation they add into the game. It would take a programmer, maybe a minute per item, and maybe 3 hours to think about all of the items and decide what values they want, and then maybe 8 hours to implement the code. So it's like a day's work, maybe 2 days work with a couple of people, and they just fix all the uniques that are currently in the game. There's no reason not to do it. There's no reason not to do it right fucking now, but they're not gonna. I'm gonna rant a little bit more and run this T1 map. Now I'm running a T1 map because I can actually kind of run T1 maps, so I get to experience what my idea would have been if these uniques weren't so awful. So I can kind of at least play the game a little bit. And I think the fact that there's not a single pair of unique boots that have 30% movement speed is a travesty, especially given how important movement speed is. But, you know, I gotta pull this up all the time. Speaking of a lot of thought into this game, let's take a look at this node. Thickened arteries, 5% reduced movement speed for 1% life regeneration. Wait, what is that? 1% life regeneration per second while stationary. They think that 1% life regeneration per second is so powerful that they need to add the negative of being stationary and the negative of reduced movement speed. And before that, you're just getting 15% life regeneration rate while stationary, right? I mean, this is levels of bad design that I can't even fathom that it's in the game. Like, this blows my mind every time. I'll be sitting at work in those position meetings that I was speaking about earlier, and this will just haunt me. It'll just come into my brain. I want to be thinking about other things, you know, like reverse cowgirl or something like that. But no, I'm thinking about 5% reduced movement speed and 1% life regeneration per second while stationary. I am stuck thinking about this because it is just so poorly designed and thought about. But if I was moving faster and, you know, I had more life and this was a T15, it actually dropped loot, this would be a really fun build. It's kind of unique. It's dropping the lightning bolts because of the crits. It's chaining all over the place because of the crossbows, which aren't really doing too much damage. It's doing okay, but we need to add the bolts to it. And this would be a really fun build if the uniques would allow it to be a really fun build. Now, I can obviously supplement rares for this, but I'm a little tired browsing that market, and there's no way in hell I'm going to do crafting because, you know, like all things except for the actual combat and game mechanics of this game, the crafting is pretty half-baked. It's all random unless you want to use that one omen that costs like 10 divines, and I don't want to spend 10 divines on gambling. It's just not fun for me. I don't enjoy that. I think gambling in general is for small-brained simpletons with a defective brain where they can't comprehend things like, you know, hard work and delayed gratification. They need that instant fix and they need that instant money, so they go into gambling, which they should know you're not going to win, right? House always wins. And, you know, I think gambling is for dumb people. And I don't really like to gamble that much in games. Well, actually, I'm lying, right? I don't like to gamble in real life, but I do love to gamble in games, but not with my crafting. I like gambling like Diablo 2 gambling, and they have that in this game too. You buy the amulets, you buy the rings, but the problem with that is most of the uniques are pretty shit. So you're gambling for items, and then you got to do a lot of reading, and we all know I don't know how to read. So, yeah, that kind of limits my gambling a little bit. Limits my gambling fun. And so far, you know, I've probably gambled, I don't know, $50 million, 50 million gold in this game, and I haven't gotten anything good. Not a single good thing. I've got a couple that were close, and then I hit with, divine orbs, and, not divine orbs, with exalted orbs, and nothing good dropped. But let me take some hits here. Watch my life go up. That's pretty cool, right? Using that ring, and if I had that belt, and it wasn't, you know, a bajillion dollars for a nicely rolled belt, that belt would be pretty dope. With this ring, I'd get so much life per hit, and I'm just throwing these bolts everywhere. They're chaining, they're getting some distance, they're getting kind of groovy. It would be really cool. I would like it a lot. I do have a lot of currency, so I might actually buy that belt and then use this ring because it is a pretty cool combo. But the ring is still very undertuned. I don't know if I can pause and look at items, but you know, 40% rarity is spectacular. But 13 all res, I mean, that's pretty low. It goes all the way up to 15, but that should be at least 22.5. And then I think the life is good, the mana is good, the reduced duration of curses is good, but that resistance is too low. If they up that resistance, this ring might actually get some play. Or maybe it is getting play, because it's not too bad. And with the belt, it does, in fact, increase it. And if you're a monk or, you know, a bow person, that life is probably pretty nice. So maybe that ring is getting play. I don't know. I didn't buy that ring. I found it, and I had it in my inventory. So I just kind of pimped through it. God, I'm moving so slow. I have so many movement speed nodes on the tree. If the crit wasn't so bad, I would probably try to do a cast on crit variation. I'm still going to be working on my rapid fire Pathfinder. I was just trying this because I was looking at some of the uniques at work. And I was hoping to try to make a full unique build work, and it don't. It don't work at all. It's just bad. POE 2, not bad, but POE 2 bad. POE 2 combat's so good that I'm not sure I can go play the new stuff they're adding into POE 1 again. And I've gotten used to this AWSD controls, and if I go back to Path of Exile 1, I don't think my old brain is going to be able to update the OS on this bitch to be able to use mouse pointers again. So they also definitely need to add AWSD to Path of Exile 1, if that even possible. Pretty sure it has controller support. I imagine it's probably similar to controller support from a programmatic standpoint. I mean, this blasts through T1s. I'm just wrecking shit. I mean, if I was moving faster, I'd be wrecking shit. I'm hoping to make a good version of this rapid fire build that I'm playing with. It'll probably be the last build I make on POE 2 until they release some actual content or update something or fix something. They gotta do something to pull me back in. I think I'll catch up on Baldur's Gate 3 again. I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 and I was taking my sweet time. And then I realized I was just in the tutorial zone, like Act 1 I guess it would be. I think it's got 3 acts. Or I hopped on a boat and went to a whole new zone, and I was like, holy shit, I have been taking way too long to play this game. I think I was 100 hours in by the time I hopped on the boat. I did everything on that first island because I was really enjoying the game. And I was 100 hours in before I hopped on that boat, and I just got a little bit intimidated, and a new Path of Exile League came out, and then, you know, before I know it, it's 3 months later, and I've totally forgot my class. So I think I might fire up some Baldur's Gate 3 and play that for a wee bit. Obviously, I won't make content on it. You guys don't give a shit about no Baldur's Gate 3 content. And I think maps would be pretty fun. And by pretty fun, I mean significantly more fun than they are now if the rares were all just identified from the start. Because then, you know, people could start doing like rare hunt challenges. You could pick a map, what is this, Blooming Fields, and they can have a time attack, and they can have a leaderboard for each map on who cleared it the fastest, and then another way to compete. I really like competing in a PvE standpoint. Like, they have time attacks for games like Mario, where you run the Mario map and you have to beat the time. I used to do that with my brothers all the time. We would try to see who can beat the Mario map the fastest. I like that kind of shit a lot. And it just saddens me that a game like this doesn't have any really good stats. It doesn't have any good competitive elements aside from the very first part of the leaders board, trying to get a boss killed first and stuff like that. It would be really cool to have, you know, some racing options, some micro challenges you could compete with, some leaders boards. I really liked when Diablo 3 had their leaderboard situation. It was fucking dope. Anytime a new season in Diablo 3 would come out, I would, first weekend, I'd be in the top 10 every single league on the leaders board for greater rifts, and then, you know, I have a job so the no-lifers would win. But until I went back to work, I could fuck those no-lifers up like it was no big thing. But then, you know, shit got whacked. But yeah, I feel deeply saddened by the state of the unique items in this game. after this map is, I don't know why I'm clearing the map. I guess might as well, right? You see how my idea was supposed to work. It works fine. It just doesn't have the numbers. Doesn't have the numbers that are required, but it's working pretty much as intended. It's pretty dope, and I like the idea. I'm gonna see if I can use rares and take this idea to the next level. It's pretty rad. And with the amount of life I'm gaining on hit, I can actually probably just get enough life and tank hits. Get enough life to where I can tank a rare hit in every map. I mean, there's some big slams from bosses I won't be able to take, but if I can get strong enough to tank pretty much every hit from a rare, and then I just keep casting, I get the stun charm, I get the freeze charm, I'm pretty sure I'll be unkillable. Because as soon as they hit me, I'll be firing rapidly with rapid shot, and I'll just get my life back. And rapid fire will be the platform to administer this bad boy. And instead of using this helmet, I only use this for the increased attribute requirements because it's kind of weird. Greater lightning bolt works, but if you don't have enough attributes for this 91N, you can't put support gems in it, but it will still trigger. The lightning bolts will still trigger, but it won't have any of these delicious support gems. So this helmet's pretty nice because, you know, I need strength, dex, and Astramentuses are also expensive, and I want this unique amulet. But let's just go through some of these uniques and laugh at the uniques together. I feel that humiliating people who do a bad job at their job is really nice and fun, and everyone should do it. If you see someone doing a bad job at their job, they're getting paid to do a task, and they're not doing it very good, I think we need to bring back bullying of people who get paid to do something and do a piss poor job of it. So let's just take a look at, is there claws? Is there even any claws? Who the fuck's gonna use claws? What? I guess they got some data. There's no claws, there's no daggers, there's wands, there's no swords, there's no axes, there's maces, there's scepters, and then we got bows, we got staves, two-handed maces, quarterstaffs, we already seen the crossbows, quivers, shield, foci, gloves, boots, body armor, helmets, rings, amulets, belts. We'll stop there. Unique wands. We are looking at this dog shit item. 25% spell, mana cost converted to life. 25% chance to inflict bleeding on hit. Gain 10 to 15 life per enemy killed. 100% spell damage. Dog shit. No one would ever use this. Even if you got it leveling up, you ain't gonna, you would use it. If you got this, it's a level 2 requirement. If you get this Act 1 right out the gate, you'd probably use it. But if they scale it up, let's see, it's physical damage, it's bleeding, so add spell damage, put +1 to spell skills, and then maybe, you know, something else on there to spicing it up a little bit, and then have it level up as you go. Fixes that item right up. Okay, this bad boy, 50% crit chance for spells, that mana per enemy killed, corpse is destroyed when consuming a corpse. Yeah, this it's got volatile dead. This is dog shit. I don't even want to talk about what I would do to improve it. I'd improve it by removing it from the game. This one's pretty dope, but that level of skills and cast speed and mana and the leech is fine. The top 3, all I gotta do is make it scale with the item level. Make it scale with the item level. This will be good. Get it all the way up to, you know, make it +8, go a little higher than the standard, because that's kind of all it really does is level of skills and mana and cast speed. Give it +8 to level of skills when you get the max level item level. Make that 200 mana and 30 cast speed. That'll be a dope item. Still probably not better than a rare, because that's the objective of Path of Exile. They want the uniques to be unique interactions to enable unique builds, but rares will always be more powerful, and I like that ideology. I think uniques are really nice when they're just a hair. Like if we're looking at T15s, the rare items are all designed to do T15, the uniques are more around T10. It's just slightly less powerful, but it's easy to find on the store, on the shopping, and if you drop it, you can get excited. Path of Exile's rares are really good. They also could be better because there's a lot of really bad ones there, but it's like a 50-50 split. 50% of them are very niche or level up items, and then the other 50% are really good. This is more like 95-5. I could have counted them on how many were bad, but I'm pretty sure it's only going to be a few. Reduce attack speed, are you serious? Causes double stun buildup? I mean, what the fuck are you thinking? What the fuck are you thinking with this thing? Oh, it's a leveling item. Even if it pumped up with levels, actually I think this would be really cool if it pumped up with levels and that reduced attack speed got even stronger, but the physical damage and the accuracy and the strength exploded in damage. It's kind of like that mace that you can't pronounce in Path of Exile 2, Molgeneer or whatever it is, some New Zealand native language mace. Has massive damage but very slow attack speed. They could do that with this and it'd be pretty dope. These ones are much better in Path of Exile 2 because actually it's not even the same. The one in Path of Exile 2 does double damage. This doesn't even do double damage, but it does have a high crit chance. And by high crit chance, it's barely +5 to crit chance, so it's 10% crit. It's not that high. Yeah, all you really got to do to make this awesome is just have it scale with levels, and that would be pretty good. Cold, lightning, increased attack speed, energy generation is doubled. Yeah, increase with levels. This could be pretty good. But as is, pretty trash. Okay. Apply fire exposure when fully break the armor of an enemy. Now, I feel that fire exposure is not good enough to apply fire exposure when fully breaking armor of an enemy. They should just say applies fire exposure on hit. Fire exposure is not that powerful of a stat. In fact, I think adding fire exposure is probably a worse stat than you can get for any of the other stats. Like, instead of getting apply fire exposure when fully breaking enemy armor, you can get +6 to skills. +6 to skills will always be better than fire exposure. So it's not even a top slot to pick. This one's pretty good. Just needs to scale with levels. I haven't even seen this one. The attack speed's pointless on a mace because most of the mace skills require guaranteed and mandatory attack time, except for the base ones. So those are all dog shit. Interesting unique mechanic here. 5% of damage as chaos damage per undead minion. You can stack a ton of minions. But I think it's going to be counter synergistic because you have a bunch of minions, but then you have to do the attack. And I don't think that attack is applying to your minions. So, you know, let's go dog shit. More enemy presence stuff. I'm not a minion guy. I can't exactly say how good this is, so I'm just gonna go with the default dog shit. Now, this will always be a little bit good because it's giving you spirit and malice for free with the mana regeneration, so this is actually a pretty decent mace. I wouldn't be surprised if a few people use this. I know people will use it leveling up, but I wouldn't be that surprised if there's a build out there that's using this as a main. It's pretty good. I'll give that one a pass. And if they scaled it with your level, it would be excellent. This one's just high-fiving. We can move on from that one. I can't believe there's only 4 unique bows. That is wild to me. This one's amazing. It was amazing in Path of Exile 1. This is one of the solid ones. I just gave it a thumbs up. You could totally see me doing a thumbs up over here. Projectile split towards 2 targets. The damage is low. The projectile speed is excellent. The physical damage is... In fact, all I can think about when I use this is Spark, throwing it on with Spark and having, because you got the projectile speed, you got the projectile split towards other enemies, and Spark is the strongest skill in the game. So that's all I think about is Spark, but you're better off to use this and then a Quiver with Spark. This guy is good for leveling. It's always one of the best levelers. with the 100% increased attack speed. The less damage doesn't matter that much. I would like to see a higher critical strike chance, so you can apply some crit shenanigans here. But Quill Rain's always fun. Additional arrow. That's a big old fat stack of critical damage bonus. Bow attacks fire 3 additional arrows. Yeah, this has a lot of potential if it wasn't locked behind a level 28 item that doesn't pump up. Just all they got to do with this one, literally, is have some of the stats and the physical damage scale with items. Maybe have the bow type upgrade as you find this at higher levels. Unique staves. This one's dope. It just needs to, you know, maybe get a little bit stronger with time. The skills get stronger. The firebolt gets stronger. The Ember of Pulsade gets stronger. But the spell damage and the mana regeneration, it's just not quite enough. It's not quite enough to make it worth it. Have it pump up a little bit while you get higher versions of it. Freeze build-up is always nice. Enemies frozen by you take 50% increased damage. Also pretty dope. I can't really... Is there no damage mods on it? Yeah. Oh, it's just for casting. I thought it was a staff for a monk. Yeah, it's just for casting. Oh yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And if you got this at level 2, that'd be pretty exciting. That 100% freeze build-up at level 2 would be dope. Great leveling item. If they just scale it with level, really good. If Ignite was actually even remotely usable for anything other than Hammer of the Gods, this would be really good. I'm torn on the Ignite, Poison, Bleed situation. I do like the fact that while mapping, I'm never dying from Ignite, Poison, or Bleed. I don't think I've ever died from Ignite, Poison, or Bleed, which is really, really cool, because it never feels good to die to one of those things, because it's damage over time, and a lot of times you die after you've already killed the enemy. You kill the enemy, you try to walk away a little bit, and you're bleeding, and then you're dead. It's like dying to an on-death effect. You shouldn't die to someone who's already dead. But I guess that does happen in real life a lot of times. You're in a sword battle with your neighbor over who, you know, shit in the yard, and you cut his throat, but he's already kind of nicked your femoral artery. You kind of go home and you try to bandage it up, and you're not successful, and you die on your kitchen floor. Okay, Burden of Shadows. Skills. Skill mana cost converted to life. The mana cost is way too high. This is probably completely unusable. Skills gain 1% of damage as chaos damage per 3 life cost. All the chaos skills suck. And damage as is pretty bad in this game because the way they chose to do the elemental scaling. I agree with how they do the scaling in this game. You can't double stack. You can't stack fire damage. Pump up fire damage, convert it to cold. Pump up cold damage, convert it to lightning. Pump up lightning damage and get a triple stack. I kind of like that they got rid of that. That was a bit shenanigan-y in Path of Exile 1. And the only builds that actually used it always became very expensive. So I'm kind of fine with that, with the change. Let's see. Guess what we got? We got a dog shit item here, guys. Who would have thought it? A dog shit maim on crit. Maim's not strong enough to have maim on crit. It should just maim on hit. What we got here? Oh, who would have thought? Another dog shit item. A slow two-handed mace that's doing 47 physical damage. Slam skills you use yourself cause aftershocks. That's really nice, but why would you want an aftershock on no damage? Solid item, just needs to level up and get stronger with you. Brain Rattler, one of my favorite maces from Path of Exile 1. Shit base damage, shit added lightning damage, pretty shit attack speed. All damage with this weapon causes electrocution buildup. Now that is a fantastic stat. That is good across the board. They just need to allow this to, guess what? Level up as you level up. Or when you're in T15 maps or T16 and you find it, it's at a higher item level, so that lightning damage shoots up, that physical damage shoots up, and maybe even the attack speed shoots up a little bit. And then Brain Rattler is solid. Now for POE, We'll do POE DB Brain Rattler. Let's just take a look at what Brain Rattler looks like in Path of Exile 1. Oh, look at this physical damage. Normal levels of damage. It also does all kinds of really cool shit. Like, this is just such a better developed item than this one. Like, it's night and day. It's fucking bonkers. I can't even understand how the game came out in early access like this. I mean, I would be embarrassed. I would be embarrassed with this. This should be like me writing code and popping a freaking inner join when it needs to be a left join and not being able to figure out what the hell I did wrong. You know what I mean? Like, it's just bad. I would be embarrassed. I'd be ashamed. And I don't know their names, but the fat chubby looking dude was talking about Path of Exile 2 before it came out, and I could see the hesitation on his face. I think he knew that the combat was amazing and a lot of people were going to like it, especially people with a bit of a predilection for the Soulsborne series. But I think he knew a lot of this shit. He probably might not be that in tune with like some of the item designs. He might be more along the programming of the combat mechanics in the campaign. And then he looked at some of these items. He's like, oh man. Maybe he opened up the passive tree, saw thickened arteries. Let's go back and take a look at that, right? Let's go back. Maybe he was like, he saw this. He's like, guys, do you really think that 1% life regeneration per second while stationary is worth a 5% reduced movement speed penalty? This we're gonna get flamed by the internet if our combat wasn't so good, but luckily their combat was so good. All right, we got some quarterstaffs here. Okay, causes bleeding on hit. A great stat to have. It really just needs to, come on, we all know what I'm gonna say. It needs to scale with level. We got critical strike chance of 10. All hits cause bleeding. You can do a lot of really cool mechanics with that. You can blast through and just cause everything to bleed. Like, imagine a way to get bleed prolif, which I'm not sure exists, and then you'd put this on like elite build. Oh, never mind. You can't use leap slam. You need a staff for leap slam. And a quarter staff that causes bleeding. Hold on. I have to. Let's open this up in a new tab here. Skill gems, new tab window. Can we do quarterstaff? No, we'll have to do attack. Oh, they're over here. I really can't do quarter. Payoff, sustain, persistent, trigger. Okay, well, it's gonna need to be physical. I'm just saying if there are attack, melee, projectile. Where's the unarmed quarterstaff? Okay, so here's a physical quarterstaff. I wasn't even sure if they had physical quarterstaff. I can't even talk. Physical quarterstaff skills in the game, but it looks like there's like one. Staggering Palm is the only real physical attack. So you have this staff, which causes bleeding on a hit, but the vast majority of monk staff builds are all elemental base. So it's just, there's no synergy here, and you can't really use this with any of the other attack skills. This one's solid, and this one would be solid if it was a different game, and this scaled with levels. Ignite is bad, but Ignite chance, you can do some cast one Ignite. I do like to know physical damage, but you just need more. You just need more. Just let this level up. Causes daze buildup equal to 100% of damage dealt. Yeah, that's solid. You do some dazing, you do some stunning, you do some winning, except for you can't do any stunning, you can't do any dazing, and you can't do any winning because the damage is too low. 10% to critical strike chance. This can get you 20% critical strike chance. 100% increase elemental damage with attacks, plus 4 to all elemental skills. Trigger skills refund half of energy spent. this might be good all on its own because you're going to be using trigger skills with this. But the problem is that I think most of the trigger skills, aside from the one that's on the monk, are... Wait, why my music stop playing? Yes, I am still watching, you jacknut. I think most the monk skills, you know, I think most of the triggering is good for spells, not attacks, except for the one monk thing. I'm not sure you're really, you know, triggering any good stuff. So 100% increase elemental damage with attacks would be better if it was just 100% increase elemental damage. So that way when you're triggering things, you can actually put this on some spells, and you can start triggering some spells. You can do Lightning Conduit or Comet. It'd be pretty good then. Oh, then we're on the skill gems. Quivers. Quivers, I think, are also radically embarrassing for the people at GGG. Let's see, cold damage per attacks. I haven't really played any quivers, so I can't really 100% gauge how shit this are. But let's just throw the dice on the table. Oh, they rolled shit. I rolled the dice, and it rolled shit. That one is shit. Chaos damage contributes to freeze. Chaos damage contributes to electrocute. Physical damage is extra chaos. Again, this extra damage is a little bit wonky. Not that great. But this is solid. This is solid. Just needs to... you know, the chaos skills need to be a little bit stronger. All the chaos skills in this game are pretty dog shit. But, yeah, this one's fine, actually. I like this one. This one's great. Obviously, it can pair up a little bit with level. That would be pretty great. So go from 20% physical damage is extra damage to... Let's just go 50. And then attack speed from 15 to 30 as you level up. Yeah, this would be pretty great. Projectiles pierce all ignited enemies. Okay, well there's quivers in Path of Exile 1 where projectiles pierce always. So the enemy doesn't need to be ignited. And I feel pierce isn't that strong of a projectile ability. So we can just get rid of that all ignited enemies. And just have it pierce. Oh, damn. I'm dropping some Zelda on me. Shields, there's too many to look at. Obviously this guy's busted because he gives the magic find and he's super expensive. This guy's gonna be dope when Righteous Fire comes out, but right now Righteous Fire isn't coming out. And look at this. 3% of life regenerated per second. Not while stationary. That's just 3% of life regenerated per second. Let's go back in here. And this is 1% of life regeneration, but only while stationary at the cost of 5% reduced movement speed. So you get a shield that is equal to 3 full big boy nodes in the game. And technically, when you're on low life, it's 6 of those bad boys. It's just unfathomably bad how bad Thickened Arteries is. It's embarrassing. GGG should be embarrassed that that's in the game. This one's great. This one's great. Except for the fact they're shields, and, you know, why the fuck would you use shield in this game? I'm done with the shields. Some of these are pretty good. The shields aren't so bad, because a lot of the times your shields are just utility. Recover 4% of life when you block. It's a little low, but it's still pretty great. And the other one, I think it was a flat number, so you can do some shenanigans with the flat number. But 4% of life's not too bad. And this guy was really good in Path of Exile 1. Busted good. Block chance is lucky. Yeah, this is, I don't know the prices. I don't play shields. This is probably expensive. And you have cast on block. Okay. I need to see how expensive this is because it's probably expensive. Do I still have a trade window? I just gotta see if it's expensive because I might want to do one more build with this bad boy. Oh, that is dope. That is dope. Oh, but if you lower the block chance, it gets a little pricey. But, you know, it's 5 divines, 6 divines is not that bad. Not that bad at all. Cast on block, raise shield. Yeah, that could be pretty dope. That could be pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty sure all of these are bad. 20% chance for energy shield to restart when you kill an enemy. I mean, that's a decent stat, but it's not worth all the other dog shit nodes. Throw a couple more things, have it level up when you level up, that'd be great. Minions resistance is equal to yours. Mana regeneration. Oh, this is... Ugh. Increase mana regeneration rate while stationary. Mana regeneration rate. Lightning. This one's solid. I'll give it a pass. You might be able to do some max lightning resistance shenanigans, and that's kind of what uniques are good for. All that shenanigan shit. Life, mana. Again, there's no good way to get to low life, so this is probably good for some weird things. I'll give it a pass. No, that one gets a pass. Increased spell damage for spirit. This enables a spirit stacker to also increase damage. This is exactly what uniques are supposed to do. Have that energy shield pump up with level. Okay, I'm tired of talking. There's so much more. We'll go to the boots because the boots are funny. These boots, dog shit, no movement speed. These boots, pretty dog shit, only 10% movement speeds, but it enables decompose step on skill, which is a hit points base skill, which is always broken. Decompose does damage based on a percentage of their life, if I remember correctly. Poisons enemy as though dealing chaos damage equal to 30% of corpse's maximum life. These are always broken because no matter how strong the corpse get, their life goes up, you do more damage. These are good across the board. It's just sad the 10% movement speed, but this one actually justifies the reduced movement speed. If this had 30% movement speed, I'm pretty sure every builder, every player would be playing these boots. This would be the most popular build hands down if this had 30% movement speed, or even 35%. That'd be bonkers. Everyone would be doing fart builds. These boots, dog shit, 15% movement speed. These boots, dog shit, 10% movement speed. These boots, 20% I would consider possibly usable. And if you can do something cool with drop ignited ground while moving, dealing burn damage equal to 10% of your maximum life, if maximum life was even possible to get a lot of maximum life on, these probably have a place. These are okay. I'll give these a 5 out of 10. 20% movement speed for thorns, dog shit, throw it in the trash. Throw it in the trash. Now this should just be 25% critical strike chance. No reason to apply it only to the thorns. There's no reason that you just can't have it across the board, right? You know what I mean? That's not that big of a deal. A 25% crit strike chance, that's not that big of a deal. Just give it to everybody. Why reduce it to just thorns? Oh, well look at that. Only 20% movement speed. Dog shit. Unless you can find some maximum lightning resistance shenanigans, but we'll just throw that in a dog shit pile. Oh, no movement speed. Oh, this is the weird one. Conditional shit, always dumb. Now, if you can somehow snapshot it so you're getting 40% increased movement speed, that'd be great, but, you know, this is always bad. 25% movement speed. Physical damage is pinning. These might be okay. I haven't used pinning yet, but if pinning is a good stat, 25% movement speed is somewhat acceptable. These almost get a pass. I'll give these a 4 out of 10. 10% movement speed, 0 out of 10, dog shit, would not recommend. No movement speed, even worse, dog shit, 0 out of 10, would not recommend. Low level, like 20% movement speed, your speed is unaffected by slow. I give these an 8 out of 10. These are great leveling boots, and maybe even if you don't want to get slowed down, like you're doing, you know, some kind of weird shit, yeah, it'd be pretty great. Now, if this just leveled up with you, you know, higher level items have higher level stats, and you can get this up to 30% movement speed, I'm pretty sure this would be like an 8 out of 10 for me, because I really dislike slows. Slows in the game kind of disrupt your flow, so becoming completely immune to slows makes sure you have an even flow. Playing some music, you're kind of playing to the beat, you don't want to slow down, you want to keep your speed up. 20% movement speed for a triple stat, and rarity when on low life would be good if there was a way to reliably be on low life, but there is not, so let's throw these 0 out of 10. 20% movement speed, 0 out of 10. 5% movement speed per frenzy charge. I haven't even looked at how frenzy charges work, but I'm pretty sure I don't like it. Nope, pretty sure I don't like it. I liked how frenzy charges worked in Path of Exile 1. Just gave you 4% more damage, 4% spell caster. I can't remember what it did. It's been so long. But either way, I'm going to put this in the dog shit pile. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Because that movement speed is conditional. And for whatever reason, 0% movement speed feels like negative 35% movement speed in Path of Exile 2 versus Path of Exile 1. But that could be rose-colored glasses on my eyes because I'm remembering Path of Exile 1 at the full zoom. 10% movement speed, dog shit, would not recommend. No movement speed, dog shit, would not recommend. Lightning shot ground with 10% movement speed, dog shit. Throw this up to 25% movement speed, maybe I'll give it a 5 out of 10 because you also get some lightning damage to attacks and you get lucky damage with lightning, so 50 is actually pretty high, but you need that movement speed. So this one, I think, is these bottom two are the only two that can actually get 30% movement speed. So let's see what you get in addition. Oh, you get some thorns damage, aggravating bleed when they enter your presence. That's actually pretty good. I'll give these ones a 7 out of 10. You get 30% movement speed, free bleed aggravate. I don't know how hard it is to bleed aggravate. I haven't really done too much bleeding, but yeah, these seem fine. Less 10% movement speed and skill speed per dodge roll in the past 20 seconds. Dodge roll avoids all hits. 30% movement speed. Yeah, these can be fine. I'll give that a 4 out of 10. It doesn't have anything else. Doesn't have good stats. Just dodge roll avoids all hits, and then you reduce move speed so you can't spam the dodge roll. And 20 seconds is a very long time. But I imagine you could probably do some reduction stuff, but maybe not. I don't really fully understand how the skill reduction works, because they might not consider dodge roll a skill, so you can't modify that. I don't know. It's super weird. And for example, no matter what you do, if you get Arcane Surge from casting from a critical strike, it will always be 4 seconds. But if you get it from Arcane Surge support, your increased duration will bump it up. So that's probably how that works as well. Yeah, not looking good. Not looking good. I'm tapped out. My throat's getting dry, and I'm about to cry. I'm about to legitimately cry at how bad these uniques are, and how much my attempt at building a full unique build failed. I mean, it might not have failed so hard if I put all of the money in the world into it, but even then, all I get is a better belt. Maybe find a better body armor than this one with some life, so, you know, I don't need to do the avoid damage from death, better helmet. Either way, I don't think you can really build an all-unique build in Path of Exile 2, and that is devastatingly disappointing for me. And for me, that's probably the most disappointing thing about Path of Exile 2. And there's a lot of disappointing things about Path of Exile 2. But the one thing that isn't disappointing, combat feels great. AWSD, attack move, so good. Here, let's just put on some real boots. Let's take these dog shit, these fart boy boots off, and let's go to my 4 tab where I always put my good shit. And let's give me some 35% movement speed boots. And let's actually just pop some 5% creates movement speed body armor on there. Why not? Look at me cooking. This is how you should be moving. And then you move all shooting, fast as fuck, boys. And that's going to be the next build I try to get going. And I really wish I wouldn't have played an Archmage Spark build, because that build is just so much more powerful than every other build. When I play the less powerful builds, it really kind of dampens the mood. When you're killing things instantly, off-screening everything, and you get to the boss room and you kill the bosses in 1 second, so you have single target, you have multiple target, you have all levels of damage, high defense because you're doing energy shield mana shenanigans, and then you go to a build that's trying to be a little bit more honest. It always feels a little bad. Which is why in Path of Exile 1, I always try to keep my builds, sub 20 divines. That's where I like to keep, because once you get up into the high price and the high broken shit, it kind of ruins every other build. And then you're just like, you play a new build, you build a new build, and the damage isn't up to what your other build was, and then it just kind of feels bad. Kind of feels bad. Anyways, that's the ranty video. Hopefully I can get this working, because I like the idea of being fucking Rambo. You just run around fucking machine gun and shit. I also really like the idea of getting a free attacks chain 2 additional times. Pretty dope. Pretty dope. I think this is pretty odd. Projectiles from spells cannot chain. Projectiles from spells fork. Why didn't they just make this projectiles? I mean, sure, they probably saw that bows were going to be overpowered, and they really want the forking and chaining and bouncing off of walls to be to the dead eye. But for a split second, I thought this was all projectiles, and I put it on. And then as soon as I put it on, I saw the cast speed, and I was like, oh, it's got cast speed, that's a dead node. Oh, it's got spell damage, that's a dead node. And then I read it a little bit more detail. You know, reading not my strong suit. And that's where the disappointment kicked in again. I'll check y'all later.